Hello there, very good evening and a warm welcome to the news live on Rupavahini. I'm Sharon Australians.
A very good evening indeed. I'm Javed Bongzo and we begin with the headlines of tonight's news.
The President called upon lawyers to join hands for the task of building the nation indebted with foreign loans. Postal Minister claims that the trade union action of postal workers has been called off. Families affected by floods in Kolonnava are to receive compensation from next Saturday. The reconstruction work of houses destroyed in Salava army camp blast has been launched. The UN accuses IS rebels for committing genocide in Syria and Iraq.
And on to the stories in detail now. President Maithripala Sirisena calls upon lawyers to join hands with the government to build a country shedding conflict of ideas and arguments at a time where the country is engulfed with foreign debts. He appealed to them to extend their knowledge, intelligence and the direction towards this end. The President was speaking at the get-together with a group of lawyers at the President's house yesterday. He said that the new government has been able to gain many victories for Sri Lanka during the past 1.5 years. He added that his commitment mainly was on the working as independent and sovereign state and to make Sri Lanka as a country that could be acceptable in the world in the face of criticisms and accusations at national and international level. He said that his responsibility was to build a country obtaining the support of everyone in and out of the island as well as to solve national problems. The country is facing a foreign debt burden of 9,000 billion rupees. This has pushed the island nation into a difficult situation. He said that the government has a responsibility to rescue the country from this challenging situation with commitment. He called upon everyone to join hands with the government to build a country shedding conflict of ideas and arguments at a time where the country is engulfed with foreign debts.
නමුත් අපි හැම කෙනෙකුගේම වගකීමක් තිබෙනවා. බොහෝ පහසු දේ සුඛනම්ය දේ වඩාත් වරප්‍රසාද ලබන දේට වඩා මේ අභියෝගාත්මක තත්ත්වයෙන් රට කොට අරගෙන හොඳ රටක් විදියට මේ රට කොට නැගීම. ඒ සඳහායි අපේ කැපවීම තිබෙන්නේ. ඒ නිසා ඔබේ තිබෙන දැනුම සහ බුද්ධිය සහ අත්දැකීම් සහ සමාජ පිළිගැනීමත් සමග සියලු වාද භේද වලින් තොරව අපක්ෂපාතීව මධ්‍යස්ථව මේ රට ගොඩනගන්න ඔබ සෑම කෙනෙකුටම එකතු වෙන්නයි කියන ගෞරවනීය ආරාධනයයි මම කරන්නේ.
Meanwhile, President's Counsel Prasanna Sujiva Jayawardena has been sworn in as a Supreme Court judge before President Maithripala Sirisena at the Presidential Secretariat in Colombo today. In the meantime, High Court Judge Piyasena Ranasinghe has been appointed as a new member of the Presidential Commission of Inquiry into the series of frauds, corruption, misusing of state resources, privileges, power and authority. President Maithripala Sirisena today extended his well wishes to Queen Elizabeth of Britain on her 90th birthday by making a special note as a souvenir at the British High Commissioner's official residence in Colombo today.
Postal Services Minister M.H.A. Halim says the trade union action of postal workers launched recently to win several demands has been called off this evening. He revealed that this agreement was reached following the pledge given to fulfill their demands as soon as possible at a meeting held with relevant parties. He noted that the postal service will be normalized with effect from tomorrow. Postal workers staged this trade union action claiming that they have lost the opportunity of promotions and salary increments according to a circular issued by the previous government in 2006. They have entered into trade union action to win several more demands, claiming that their new recruitment procedure has become complicated due to this circular. Extending support to this endeavour, postal workers of several other areas in the island also staged protest demonstrations today. However, the Joint Postal Trade Union Front said that proper solutions were provided to some of their demands at a discussion held with relevant authorities. They expressed the belief that other problems could be solved promptly. The co-convener of the Joint Postal Trade Union Front, H.K. Karivasam, said that Public Administration Minister and heads of state institutions could settle their problems. But a problematic situation has arisen because of the attempt taken to find solutions going beyond the purview of Public Administration Minister and heads of state institutions. This matter was brought to the notice of Postmaster General and solutions could be evolved from their grievances. Accordingly, a meeting was held under the patronage of Prime Minister's Secretary in the presence of Postal Services Minister. They have accepted the fact that such a problem existed. Discussions were held in a cordial atmosphere. They are happy about the response of the authorities. Postal Services Minister M.H.K. Halim said that the government is ready to solve unresolved problems of postal workers after identifying it as soon as possible. He added that there was a certain consensus with the postal trade union representatives at the meeting. The Public Administration Ministry has agreed to submit a special cabinet memorandum on the payment of overtime for postal workers at the next cabinet meeting. It has been noted that the problems relating to promotions under the circular on recruitments cannot be solved immediately. Therefore, an agreement was reached to settle the matter within a certain time period. Accordingly, postal service will be normalized from tomorrow.
The Treasury has released a sum of 380 million rupees today to the Disaster Management Ministry to pay compensation for flood-affected families in Kolonava. This was disclosed by the Finance Minister Ravi Karunanayake. The Finance Minister directed officials to grant compensation advance of 10,000 rupees each for all affected families by day after tomorrow. This relief will be provided for them on a recommendation of Disaster Management Ministry. This was revealed at a District Development Committee meeting held at the Colombo District Secretariat today. In the meantime, the Finance Ministry has decided to grant a 2-month amnesty period for affected families in natural disasters and Salava Army Camp blast to pay their electricity and water bills as well as relevant installments of bank loans and leasing facilities.
And the Met Department says a low-pressure area is likely to develop in the northern Bay of Bengal during the next few days. Therefore, showery and windy conditions are expected to enhance in the western and southwestern parts of the island from tomorrow evening. The Weather Bureau says this rainy weather condition will prevail till the 20th of this month. Strong winds at times can be expected over the country, particularly over western slopes of the Central Hills and southern province and over the southern sea area. Cloudy skies are expected over southern parts of the country.
The Galle business community staged a protest demonstration on today against the imposing of value-added tax. They agreed to end the protest following the intervention of Minister Vajira Abeyewardene. All activities in Galle town came to a standstill owing to the protest demonstration this morning. Only government offices and banks were opened. Our correspondent said that a large number of people who visited the Galle town for their daily needs has been pushed into great difficulty as a result of this protest demonstration. Minister Vajira Abeyewardene informed the protest demonstrators that he will arrange discussion between the Galle business community and the finance minister tomorrow. Minister Abeyewardene further noted that he has brought this matter to notice of the Prime Minister yesterday evening. The Premier has directed him to discuss this problem with the Finance Minister and settle it through consultations, compromise and consensus. He added that the government is ready to solve this problem through discussions.
Minister Dr. Sarath Amunugama says the VAT on medical tests and dialysis of kidney patients in private hospitals will be removed. He noted that the VAT is added to the existing taxes on liquor and cigarettes. Minister Dr. Sarath Amunugama told a media conference at SRFP headquarters in Colombo today that these proposals will be submitted to the next cabinet meeting. He said that the VAT is not applicable for cigarettes and alcohol, but there was a separate excise duty and other taxes. A decision was taken previously to remove VAT from alcohol and tobacco, but now the VAT will be imposed on cigarettes and liquor. The government's policy is not to encourage tobacco and alcohol. Heeding to a request, a decision has been taken to remove VAT from medical tests and dialysis of kidney patients in private hospitals. And the construction work of houses damaged in the Kosgama Salava Army Camp blast began today. The number of fully and partially damaged houses was in the region of 1,496. Soldiers of Army Engineering Services Regiment and several other regiments have been deployed to reconstruct the damaged houses in the blast. The reconstruction work of houses will be carried out firstly at the Ranavirugama housing complex located in close proximity to Salava Army Camp. Cracked walls are to be removed and new walls will be erected under the construction work. 1,496 houses surrounding the Salava Army Camp had been damaged in the blast. 158 fully damaged houses were among them. 336 houses were partially damaged and minor damages had been caused to 1,002 houses. This is disclosed by Sitawaka Divisional Secretary MMSK Bandaramapa. The reconstruction work of 253 houses with minor damages had been completed. Sri Lanka Army sources said that the reconstruction work of 78 more houses is now underway. Soldiers took measures to remove unexploded ordnance detected in close proximity to Salava Army Camp area.
France strongly backs the Sri Lankan government's approach in the areas of reconciliation, good governance and human rights. This was stated by French ambassador to Sri Lanka and Maldives, John Marangshu, has said. In an interview with The Hindu, Mr. Shu has said that his government is in favour of the current government's programme and has decided to upgrade ties with the island nation. He added that French Minister of Foreign Affairs Jean-Marc Ayrault have conveyed this to his Sri Lankan counterpart Mangala Samaravira during the latter's visit to Paris early this month. The French envoy also said that they are there not just in paper but also on ground. He referred to the latest move to establish the Office of Missing Persons. He pointed out that two major French companies, Veolia and Suez, have signed contracts last week of Euro 150 million agreement for an urban development project in Anuradhapura.
The Sri Lankan government has emphasized the significance of bilateral relations with India. Deputy Foreign Minister Dr. Harsh De Silva, who is in Mumbai to deliver the inaugural address at the Gateway of India Dialogue, emphasized the importance of Sri Lanka's bilateral relations with India. He highlighted the late Minister Lakshman Kadirgama's thesis that India and Sri Lanka should work together to build on a shared geography, history and culture in a relationship he defined that should be in a state of irreversible excellence. The Deputy Minister further noted the significance of reclaiming Sri Lanka's Indian Ocean identity beyond South Asia, which will help Sri Lanka and others unlock tremendous opportunities Sri Lanka possesses for mutual benefit in creating the new reality in the emerging Asian century. The event was organized by the Gateway House, the only foreign policy think tank in Mumbai, and the Ministry of External Affairs, India.
The funeral of former Western Province Governor Alavi Maulana took place at Dehiwala Mosque burial grounds today. President Maithripala Sirisena and a large number of mourners paid their last respects. Alavi Maulana, who was born on the 1st of January 1932, entered into political arena as a trade union leader in the year 1948. He also served as the SLFP deputy leader during the leadership of former Prime Minister, the late SWR.D. Bandaranaike, in the year 1956. He also served as the Provincial Councils and Local Government Minister and Deputy Minister of Mass Media. He held the post of Western Province Governor for a long period. He also served as a Colombo Municipal Councillor for around 10 years. He was elected as a Member of Parliament in the year 1984. He rendered a great service for national amity. The late Western Province Governor Alavi Maulana was conversant in tri-languages. He passed away last night in a private hospital. He was ailing for some time. Former President Chandrika Bandaranaike Kumaratunga, opposition leader R. Sambandhan and several people's representatives paid their last respects to the veteran politician.
And hundreds of people paid their last respects to the former JVP leader, the late Somawansa Amarasinghe, today. The body of the late Somawansa Amarasinghe is now laying at the residence number 35, Singapura, Thalangama South. Several people's representatives were among those who have paid their last respects. The late Mr. Amarasinghe entered the field of politics during his school days in 1956. He paid a special contribution for the 1971 struggle. He was entrusted with several responsibilities of the JVP following the demise of former JVP leader, the late Ruwana Vijayveera. He was away from the island for some time and later committed himself towards uplifting the party. He led the JVP from 1990 to 2014. Thereafter, he left the party in 2015 and formed People's Workers' Party. The funeral of the late JVP leader will take place at General Cemetery, Borella on Saturday, the 18th.
Presumptive Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump calls for surveillance of mosques and reiterates his plan to ban Muslim immigrants. Trump also says that Orlando's shooting would have been different if patrons were armed. Hillary Clinton says that Donald Trump's proposal to ban Muslims entering the United States is dangerous and says none of his reckless ideas would have saved a single life in recent Orlando shooting. This is our segment on the election for Battle for the White House.
long speech that at the end of it, nobody knew what the hell he was talking about. Nobody knew. He's trying to justify why he won't use, and he said radical Islam, because he didn't want to use the word terrorism, if you notice, why he won't use that term or why he doesn't use it and how it doesn't make any difference, but it does make a difference. It makes a difference, and it makes a big difference, because unless you're willing to discuss and talk about the real nature of the problem and the name of the problem, radical Islamic terrorism, you're never going to solve the problem.
This approach isn't just wrong. It is dangerous, and I want to emphasize and underline this. But I want to underscore we rely on partners in majority Muslim countries to help us fight terrorists. We need to build trust in Muslim communities here at home to counter radicalization and the lone wolf phenomenon.
And yet you see this great migration, which is a horrible thing to watch. And by the way, I have a heart as big as anybody else. We have to build safe zones over there. And we have to take care of people. Let's build safe zones, but build them over there. Build them in Syria. Build them in places over there.
A terrorist in Orlando was not born in Afghanistan, as Trump claims. He was born in Queens, New York, only miles away from where Donald Trump himself was born.
We now take a look at Asia in a minute.
Downpours in central China's Hunan province have left 3 people dead and 2 missing. More than 230,000 residents are affected and 11,900 have been evacuated. A 180-day human survival experiment within a hermetic module to test technologies for future planet explorations will be launched in China tomorrow. Taiwan holds a ceremony to mark the 92nd anniversary of Vampire Military Academy. President Tsai Ing-wen stresses the military plays an important role in protecting the way of life of Taiwanese people. The Tibetan government in exile in India thanks US for hosting the 14th Dalai Lama despite strong protests by China. And in Korea, puppies are raised in a comfortable, loving environment in the South Korean dog breeding farm until they're sent to individual homes. The government has made all arrangements to conduct the State Poson Festival. It will be held centering sacred places of worship in Mihintale, Anuradhapura, Attamastane and Tantirimale. Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation will bring Poson Full Moon Poya Day programs from Tantirimale sacred area. Parliamentary Reforms and Mass Media Minister Gayantha Kannathilaka told media conference in Colombo today that all facilities have been arranged for devotees visiting those sacred places of worship. He added that the Central Environmental Authority, along with other relevant institutions, has planned to implement a special garbage disposal program for the benefit of the devotees arriving at the sacred area for the Poson festival. He made a request from devotees not to dump garbage in the sacred city. He appealed to the people to use LP gas cylinders to cook food for dansals with the aim of minimizing the damage that could be caused due to environment. Bathing and washing clothes at Thisavava and Nuwaravava have been banned. Devotees have been provided with bathing facilities in Pokunathuna area and Basavakkulama as well as Nachaduwa and Rajanganaya and Mahakanadharava reservoirs. The security of devotees have been beefed up to around 600 strong force of Sri Lanka Navy and the police, he said.
නාච්චදුව රාජාංගනය මහකන්දරාවාදී ජලාශ භාවිතා කරන්නත් පුළුවන්කම තිබෙනවා. අනුරාධපුරයට එන ලක්ෂ සංඛ්‍යාත බැතිමතුන්ගේ ආරක්ෂාවට වැව් ආශ්‍රිතව ජීවිත ආරක්ෂාවට නාවික හමුදාවේ හා පොලිසියේ 600ක පමණ කණ්ඩායමක් යෙදවීමට කටයුතු කරනවා.
Deputy Minister Karunaratne Pananumithan, expressing his views on false information being spread in the island on Ruanveli Mahasaya, told journalists that certain media had reported a false news item claiming that a blast occurred at Ruanveli Saya in Anuradhapura. Such a massive dangerous thing has not occurred, and he said, adding that the Commissioner of Archaeology Senarat Disanayaka has denied such a serious blast. A minor crack was seen at Ruanveli Mahasaya 2 months ago and it had been repaired. There was no damage or threat to the Chaitya, he said.
Amnesty International says the Indonesian central government should allow dozens of Sri Lankan Tamil asylum seekers, including a pregnant woman and 9 children who have reached the coast of Longga, Aceh, to disembark and meet UN Refugee Agency officials. Amnesty International's Director Joseph Benedict said these people have endured a long and difficult journey already. Now that they have reached land in Aceh, they should be allowed to disembark and meet UNHCR officials. The organization fears that the Indonesian authorities may push the boat reportedly carrying 44 people back into international waters. The Aceh fishermen discovered the boat off the coast of Aceh province on June 11th. They subsequently reported the boat to the Indonesian Navy, who have not allowed the boat to disembark and the people on it to apply for asylum, arguing the asylum seekers lack the proper documentation. They remain on the boat along the Longga coast with the threat of being forced back into international waters lingering over them.
Skills Development and Vocational Training Minister Mahinda Samarasinghe emphasises the need of harnessing maximum benefits for the Sri Lanka's valuable asset, the ocean surrounding the island, in an extent of 20 times more than the country's land area. He points out that the Ocean University is a great help for the supply of trained human resources towards this end. The minister was speaking at the first convocation ceremony of the Sri Lanka Ocean University in Colombo today. The ceremony was held at the BMICH in Colombo. The Ocean University is one and only national academy creating skilled personnel in fisheries and marine sciences as well as marine technology fields. Relevant undergraduates are trained at the university for scientific, technical and management functions of these fields. Degrees were conferred on graduates who have completed 3-year academic sessions since the year 2009 at the ceremony. 104 of them received Bachelor of Science degrees on fisheries and marine sciences.
Sudan, Africa's third largest oil producer, has invited Sri Lanka to invest in its oil exploration while expressing readiness to supply crude oil at competitive prices. During a meeting with Sri Lankan Minister of Industry and Commerce Rishad Baduddin, New Delhi-based Sudanese ambassador to Sri Lanka Dr. Hassan E. L. Talib has offered to open his country's oil exploration doors to Colombo. If Sri Lanka wants to create its own petroleum, you can come to Sudan, for which we can help, announced the visiting ambassador when he called on Minister Baduddin in Colombo yesterday. The ambassador said that Sudan continues to discover new oil deposits in the country, and Chinese Malaysian engineers are already exploring and discovering new deposits using latest satellite technology. According to the ambassador, Sudan's crude is so pure that they produce and export mostly petrol, not diesel, and Khartoum can supply petrol to Sri Lanka at highly competitive prices.
Masco 2016, award ceremony organised by the Lanka Mass Communicators Association, was held in Colombo yesterday. Several veterans excelled in various fields including print and electronic media received awards at the ceremony. Awards were presented to Director of the News and Current Affairs Shirley Anil De Silva, Senior Lighting Technician Dayanand Nishankar and News Producer Chintaka Bandara Thenakone of the Sri Lanka Rupavahini Corporation. Lal Hemanta Mavalage of the Independent Television Network also received an award. Several persons excelled in the business field have also been felicitated at the ceremony held under the auspices of Speaker Karu Jayasuriya. Deputy Ministers Ajit P. Pereira and Eran Vikramaratne were present.
And in your stock update for today, the all shares price index closed at 6,435.77 points, dropped by 64.87 points, and the S&P SL20 index closed at 3,385.06 points, also dropped by 41.62 points at the end of trading in the Colombo Stock Exchange today. Turnover was over 300 million rupees. Here's a summary of market details of the Colombo Stock Exchange today. Welcome back, and on foreign stories, Islamic State is committing the crime of genocide against the Yazidis in Syria and Iraq, seeking to destroy the ethno-religious group of 400,000 people through killings, sexual slavery and other crimes, United Nations investigators said today. Their report, based on interviews with dozens of survivors, said that the Islamist militants had been systematically capturing Yazidis in Iraq and Syria since August 2014, seeking to erase their identity in a campaign that met the definition of the crime as defined under the 1948 Genocide Convention. The 4 independent commissioners urged major powers to rescue at least 3,200 women and children still held by Islamic State and to refer the case to the International Criminal Court for prosecution. The Yazidis are a religious sect whose beliefs combine elements of several ancient Middle Eastern religions. The militant group tried to erase the Yazidis' identity by forcing men to choose between conversion to Islam and death, raping girls as young as 9, selling women at slave markets and drafting boys to fight, the report said.
Here's foreign news in brief. At least 36 people have been arrested in Lille following clashes between French police and football fans at the Euro 2016 tournament. French police said the arrests had been made throughout Wednesday, adding that 16 people had been hospitalized. Yesterday night, riot police charged at hundreds of England footballer fans as flares and bangers were set off. A 40-day exhibition showcasing rock art, rare wall paintings and antiques collected from different parts of the country begins in India's northern Himachal Pradesh state. The World of Rock Art exhibition, which was titled The National Exhibition, is being hosted at the State Museum in collaboration with the Indira Gandhi National Centre for Arts, New Delhi. The exhibition will conclude on July 24th. New York exhibit shows work by Colombian artist Federico Rib, who creates animal sculptures, landscapes out of used bullet shells. From afar, it's a colorful jungle of life-size animal sculptures and intricate landscapes. But look closer, and the slinky leopard shows its true colors. It's entirely made out of bullet shells. The exhibit is in New York and runs until the end of July.
Of all walks of life. Inside your heart.
Walt Disney opened the gates to its first-time theme park in China today, promising a rush from thousands of Mickey Mouse enthusiasts to be the first to storm Treasure Cove, ride the Roaring Rapids, or visit Disney's tallest castle. Disney's largest overseas investment at $5.5 billion. The park is a bet on China's middle class and booming domestic tourism. The Duke and Duchess of Cambridge were the royal guests of honour at the garden party in Northern Ireland day before yesterday. The couple were among 2,500 guests at the party held by the Northern Ireland Secretary of State, Therese Villiers, at Hillborough Castle, south of Belfast. The Regent's Secretary of State has hosted the garden party event annually since the year 1984.
And in sports news, Sri Lanka scored 303 runs for the loss of 7 wickets in their allotted 50 overs in their first one-day international against Ireland, being played at Dublin today. Ireland won the toss and invited Sri Lanka to bat first. Sri Lankan openers Kusal Perera and Dhanushka Gunathilaka were sent back to the pavilion early when they made 9 and 32 runs respectively. Kusal Mendis scored his first half-century in one-day internationals today. He made 51 runs with 8 fours. Skipper Angelo Matthews chipped in with 48 runs, hitting 4 fours and 2 sixers. Dinesh Chandimal scored his third one-day international century today. He hit an unbeaten 102 runs with 6 fours in 109 balls.
Kevin O'Brien
And that's it for tonight's news. Do watch us tomorrow at the very same time. Good night.
Good night.
Covering the truth.